Patch 14.22 is going to be another massive one, as there are 28 unique champions being adjusted. The brand new champ, Mbessa, will be released, along with a couple of item changes as well. So by the end of this video, we're going to be having you completely caught up to speed with everything that you need to know for 14.22. And did you know mastering your champion is going to boost your win rate by a massive 9% on average? That's why at SkillCapped we offer Smurf commentaries. Simply just select the champion that you want to master and get guides from challenger experts teaching you how to play your champion in the exact rank you are stuck in. You're even guaranteed to have all of your questions answered by that very same challenger expert. After that, take one of our 5 brand new courses that teach you the secrets to carrying as a top laner, a jungler, mid laner, AD carry, and support. And it really doesn't stop there. We have new Season 14 courses on macro, wave control, trading, setting and hotkeys, CSing, vision, mechanics, low elo mistakes. Oh, and the list just goes on and on and on. The best part though is you can try all this out completely risk-free, since if you don't rank up while actively using SkillCapped, you're gonna get your money back and there's no questions asked from our end. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below right now to get the rank that you have always dreamed of. The first change of the patch is gonna be to side lane minion speed, as instead of side lane minions gaining 120 bonus movement speed up until 14 minutes, that movement speed is going to scale down from 120 to eventually 0 the closer you get to 14 minutes. Smite targeting is going to be more forgiving for this patch. As long as your cursor is within 300 units of an epic monster, then Smite is going to prioritize hitting that monster. In previous patches, this radius was only 125, so bumping it up to 300 is a pretty big change and should make it nearly impossible for you to accidentally smite a champion instead of the monster. Opportunity is going to be adjusted for this patch, with its recipe being changed so that it will now include a pickaxe and a longsword, while Rectrix is being removed. AD on Opportunity is going up from 50 to 55. Movement speed on the item is being completely removed. Lethality from its passive is going up from 10 to 11 for melee and from 6 to 7 for ranged. Ghostblade is going to have its recipe changed this patch, as a longsword is going to be replacing pickaxe. AD is going down from 60 to 55. However, there is now going to be a movement speed as a stat on the item, as it's going to provide 4%. A lot of changes are being issued to Statikk Shiv, as its cost is being lowered from 2,900 to 2,700 gold. AD is dropping from 50 to 40. Attack speed is going down from 35 to 30%. The passive is going to work completely different now. In 14.21, the passive on Shiv would proc upon killing a minion or monster and deal damage to as many as 6 targets. In 14.22, that new passive is going to cause your next 3 attacks on hit within 8 seconds to deal 60 bonus magic damage, which is going to bounce to the closest target within 500 units to strike up to 5 targets. So instead of receiving 1 upfront burst from just a single auto, you're now going to need to auto 3 times to get the full benefit out of the Shiv passive. The on takedown effect of Shiv is also being changed so that after scoring a takedown, you're going to reset the cooldown of the passive instead of unleashing a burst of damage. The item to keep a close eye on for 14.22 is definitely going to be Tal Wildarrows. It's getting a mini rework with stats now consisting of 50 AD and 20% attack speed. The old version gave you 60 AD and 25% crit. The cost of the item is going up by 50 gold, and the build path is being adjusted so that there's now a BF sword, scout slingshot, and a long sword instead of a pickaxe with noon quiver. Passive is going to be completely changed so that it's now going to cause basic attacks to grant 0.2% crit chance, stacking up to 125 times for a total of 25% crit. The second passive is going to grant you 30% bonus attack speed when attacking an enemy champion for 4 seconds. The second passive is going to have a 40-second cooldown, but be reduced by 1 second on attack and by 2 seconds if the attack crits. So we're really going to have to test the item out on a bunch of different champs to see how viable it is, but Yasuo and Yone definitely seem like 2 champs who are going to benefit the most if the item does land in a powerful spot. We have one adjustment to a summoner spell for 14.22, as Barrier is going to be receiving a nerf. The shield that you get from Barrier is going down from 120 scaling to 480 to 100 scaling to 460. For the champion changes now, we've got Blitzcrank on the buff list with his E total AD ratio being increased from 1.8 to 2. Briar is going to be receiving a small buff for this patch, with her base health going up from 590 to 625. Fizz is going to be given some added scaling strength, with his QAP ratio going up from 45 to 55%, and W active AP ratio being increased from 40 to 45%. Irelia is getting a couple of really nice buffs for this patch, as her passive is now going to deal damage to structures at 50% effectiveness. Passive duration is now going to be able to refresh on structures as well, which will make the side lane threat of Irelia that much more deadly. Now, a few Katarina buffs are penciled in, with her E cooldown being lowered from 14 to 12 seconds at rank 1, but stays the same at max rank. R cooldown is going to be significantly reduced in the early game, dropping from 90 to 75 seconds at rank 1. However, the cooldown will remain the same at rank 2 and rank 3. Kayle's passive is getting buffed for this patch, with the bonus attack speed AP ratio per stack going up from 0.5 to 1%. Rumble is going to be given some added early game power for 14.22, as his base health is going up from 625 to 655. We have got a bunch of Swain buffs for this patch, as the champ landed pretty weak after his mini rework from 14.21. Some minor base stat buffs include Swain's magic resist and magic resist growth being increased. Q base damage is going up from 60 scaling to 160 to 60 scaling to 180. E cooldown is going to be lowered from 14 scaling to 10 seconds to 12 scaling to 10 seconds. R heal ratio is up from 1.25 to 1.5% bonus health. Non-champion heal ratio is up as well from 0.125 to 0.15% bonus health. Riot wants to provide some power to on-hit Varus for this patch, so they're going to be increasing his W base damage, going from 5 scaling to 25 to 8 scaling to 28. Vayne is going to have her R buffed, as the bonus AD is going up from 25 scaling to 55 to 35 scaling to 65. Vel'Koz is going to be receiving a few cooldown buffs, with his E cooldown dropping by 2 seconds at rank 1, and R cooldown is going to be lowered from 120 scaling to 80 seconds to 100 scaling to 80 seconds. Vi is going to be getting a bit tankier for this patch, as her passive shield health ratio is being increased from 12 to 14% max health. There are 2 buffs headed Wukong's way, with his base mana going up from 300 to 330, and W cooldown being lowered from 22 scaling to 14 seconds to 18 scaling to 14 seconds. Moving on to the champion nerfs now. Aatrox is first up, with his R being targeted. Bonus AD from R is going down from 20 scaling to 45% to 20 scaling to 40%. So, more of a hit to the level 11 onwards of Aatrox, but nothing that's going to affect his early game strength. Anivia has been the highest win rate mid laner as of recent, so she is going to be getting nerfed for this patch, with her armor growth dropping from 4.9 to 4.5, and EAP ratio takes a small dip, going from 60 to 55%. Corki's getting nerfed in 2 different ways, as his mana growth is dropping from 54 to 40, so a little more incentive towards building Manamune on Corki instead of going for the Collector into Infinity Edge. Attack damage growth is also down from 2.5 to 2. Illaoi is going to be receiving a few base stat nerfs, with her mana growth dropping from 60 to 50, and base AD is going down from 68 to 65. Jax is going to have his R nerfed in 2 different ways, as the cooldown is being increased by 10 seconds at all ranks, and R active damage is dropping from 150 scaling to 350 to 100 scaling to 250. Lillia is going to be losing some durability for 14.22, as her armor growth is dropping from 5.2 to 4.5. Passive base heal against monsters is going down as well, from 39 scaling to 54 to 39 flat. Mordekaiser is going to be receiving a nerf to his E, with his base damage going down from 70 scaling to 130 to 60 scaling to 120. AP ratio on E is getting hit as well, dropping from 60 to 40%. Poppy is being targeted with a few base stat changes, as her base AD is going down from 64 to 60. Base attack speed is going up, however, from 0.625 to 0.658. Seraphine is going to be nerfed for 14.22, as her QAP ratio is going to be lowered from 60 to 50%. Shen's going to be receiving a couple of nerfs, with his passive cooldown going up by 1 second. However, the cooldown refund is being increased from 4 scaling to 7.5 seconds to 4 scaling to 8 seconds. R shield is going to be quite heavily nerfed later on, as it's being lowered from 130 scaling to 450 to 120 scaling to 320. Health ratio on R shield is down as well, from 16 to 15%. Sylas won't be quite as durable moving forward, as his health growth is being targeted, dropping from 129 to 122. Syndra is going to be receiving a nerf to her W base damage, as it's being lowered from 70 scaling to 230 to 70 scaling to 210, while the AP ratio drops as well, going from 70 70 to 65%. Udyr's R is going to be nerfed for this patch as the base damage is dropping from 80 scaling to 440 to 80 scaling to 360. Awaken R health ratio is being reduced from 8 scaling to 16% max health to 8 scaling to 14% max health. Our monster damage cap is going to have its base damage increased, however the AP and AD ratios are being removed. Is it really a league patch if there aren't K'Sante changes, as we have 2 adjustments for him in 14.22. Q base damage is being lowered by 10 at all ranks. E dash speed while in R form is being increased from 950 to 1250. There is a couple of adjustments being issued to Maokai, with his base movement speed going up from 330 to 335. Base health is up as well from 635 to 665. E movement speed will no longer scale based on your boots movement speed and instead just scale by champion level. Okay guys, one last thing. Our rank up guarantee is absolutely insane. It's kind of like signing up for the gym and then just getting a refund if you don't get ripped. That's how confident we are in Skillcapped. We obsess over making the best guides with the top players, the rigorous testing, and top tier video editing to make your climb as easy as possible. If you're ready to level up, just visit skillcapped.com and literally see the difference. So there you have it, everyone. Those are all the changes that we can expect to hit live servers when patch 14.22 drops this upcoming Wednesday, November 6th. So thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see ya in the next one.